Hey, I'm Heyzeus, and you know how we're currently in the middle of a terrible pandemic, the global economy is in crisis, things are kind of crazy? Well, funnily enough, despite all these terrible things happening in the world, the prices of CSGO cases have been going insane recently. Investors have been making a fortune, prices are reaching record levels, and this is all despite the fact that it feels like we're living in the end times at the moment. And in this video, we're going to be having a look at what's actually going on. Are those prices for real, or is it all just one massive bubble? Well, let's find out. Now, before I start, I just want to say a quick thank you to Skinport for sponsoring this channel. Skinport is an easy to use skins marketplace with awesome prices. It's also guarded by a fish impersonating the villain from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Great site, make sure you use the link in the description to support this channel. More about them later. Now, CSGO cases have been through a lot of crazy stuff recently, ever since the Chinese really started sinking their claws into the market in early 2019. There has been episode after episode of craziness, with one of the key themes being that they're getting progressively more and more nuts. And this latest episode is definitely a high watermark. I mean, we've got insane prices on the glove case. You would have made a 17,000% profit if you bought these just a year ago. And add to that the fact that breakout cases are at record prices, the price of Spectrum cases have also been going nuts, the price of Gamma 2 cases, they've been going nuts too. These were just 3 cents a couple of months ago. Spectrum 2 cases have been doing a similar thing, and even cases that are still dropping have seen their prices go up by a couple of cents, which might not seem like much, but it's not what's meant to happen. These cases are meant to be 3 cents, but clearly, people are buying so many of them that it's just forcing prices up across the board, and it leads to the question of why. Cases have been going up in price gradually for about a year now. The fact that they're reaching new highs wouldn't be that remarkable if it wasn't for the fact that the world is currently in the middle of its nastiest recession since the 1930s. That part is a bit weird. I've always wondered what a recession would do to CSGO's skin economy, but I certainly didn't expect it to cause a boom. And at the end of the day, there's only 2 real possible explanations for what's going on here. It's either A, investors are going nuts, buying cases and forcing up prices, or B, people are opening cases faster than they're dropping and forcing up the prices in the process, or maybe a combination of the two, but we'll talk more about that later. Now, the only way the prices of cases go up long term is if people are actually opening them, because cases are consumed that way. If it's investors doing the buying, well, they're going to want to sell their cases at some point. And if prices don't keep going up, eventually they're going to cut their losses and cash out, sending prices tumbling down in the process. And there's certainly plenty of interest in cases as an investment right now, tons of interest. But there are some clues that people opening cases is also a pretty big factor. Firstly, it's worth remembering that because of lockdown, people are either stuck at home or have been until very recently, and this has actually led to a boom in how much CSGO is being played. It's cooling off now as more countries are starting to reopen, but the initial impact is pretty obvious. And if you're playing CSGO more, well, you're probably going to be opening cases more, right? Secondly, we have to come back to these cases that are still dropping and should only be 3 cents. These are the sort of cases that most people will be opening, and there's also not going to be that much interest in these cases from investors because they won't be discontinued for years, and their prices have been going up when they really shouldn't be. Not to mention that CSGO's most recent case, the Prisma 2 case, is still worth 30 cents after being out for 3.5 months, and that's definitely not unheard of, but it is still unusually high, and it all indicates that people are opening a lot of these things. And finally, there is actually a group of people who have access to the numbers on how many cases are being opened, and that's the artists that contribute skins to the workshop. They get given stats by Valve when they have something in a case, and a little bit of this information gets to me. I don't have a complete data set, but what I've been told indicates that people are opening cases a lot right now, an abnormally high amount. And putting those 3 things together, it seems to me like the reason case prices are going insane is mostly because people are unboxing them at insane rates. Yes, apparently a global catastrophe, like we're going through at the moment, is a brilliant thing for CSGO. Now, that is not to say investors aren't getting their grubby paws involved either. In fact, I suspect they're really getting in on things too. For example, the Shattered Web case recently had its price spike, and something like that was almost certainly caused by investors. But of the two factors, I think this is a smaller of the two. I think for the most part, it comes back to how much people are opening cases, and all of this has some interesting implications. So CSGO and CSGO cases are benefiting from the fact that the world is a disaster zone, but unfortunately for the game, that disaster is slowly receding for now. But mostly, there are some exceptions, but many places are either reopening or have reopened for better or worse, and CSGO's player base is already dropping off as a result. And as this continues, I think case prices are going to slow down. Now, what's generally good news for mankind in this situation is probably bad news for anyone who's invested in CSGO cases. But still, we have this long-term trend. CSGO is probably going to pick back up around the end of the year, and I think case prices will pick back up with it. We've been seeing one new peak after another, and I suspect the next one won't be too far off. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, massively appreciate it, and a big thank you to Skinport for sponsoring this channel. Skinport, formerly known as SkinBay, it's the same site. All that's changed is the name, is a skins marketplace and cash out site. It's safe, convenient, easy to use. It's got a super competitive sales fee of 5% if you put skinport.com in your username, a really, really low fee if you're looking to sell your skins. If you're looking to buy instead, it's got a ton of great deals with over 100,000 CSGO skins listed, as well as easy to use deposit and withdrawal options. Awesome site, check it out, link is in the description. Anyway, that's it from me. As always, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus, thanks for watching, see ya.